So it is Saturday and we're in my hot mess kitchen and we're gonna do another My Hot Mess Test Kitchen. Tonight we are trying out Feasting from Home's Lentils Bolognese. So let's get started. We are gonna start with one large onion diced. Just gonna put that in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Sorry, I almost said teaspoons. And we're just gonna kind of let that cook up and become translucent. All right, now that we have cooked the onions for about 2 to 3 minutes, we are going to take our celery, carrots, so it is 1.5 cups of celery, 1.5 cups of carrots, and 5 cloves of garlic. Sorry, my son's home and he's playing Fortnite because it's Saturday. Okay, we're just gonna put that all in with the onions and we're gonna mix, combine, and let that cook for a bit. Okay, so we've let this kind of cook for a little bit. Now we're gonna add in our spices, which is, I'm using 2 teaspoons of dried Italian seasonings, and I use heaping teaspoons because I don't add salt to my cooking. About 1/2 teaspoon of red chili flake and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. So we're just gonna add that in. I'm gonna give that a good stir, and then kind of let that cook together. And we also lowered the heat. So we're gonna let that kind of cook together for about 5 minutes. Okay, so now that we have let all the vegetables kind of, saute for about another 5 minutes, we are going to add in 1/3 cup of tomato paste. And we are going to brown this in the pan, and as it says in the recipe, this is gonna help deepen the flavor. So we're gonna do that. All right, the next step. We're going to add in 1/4 cup of red wine, and we're going to allow that to just deglaze on the bottom of the pan. Deglaze the bottom of the pan, and now we're going to let the alcohol cook off. Okay, now that the wine's cooked down, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in our chopped tomatoes. So now you can use fresh tomatoes. If you're going to use fresh tomatoes, you need to use 3. I didn't have fresh tomatoes, so I'm just using chopped tomatoes. I use the Pomi brand. It's 0 sodium and it just has a really good flavor. So we're gonna do about half the container. So it's you want about 15 ounces if you're gonna do it this way. All right, we've let the tomatoes cook down a bit. We're going to add in our lentils. I'm using green lentils. The recipe recommends black caviar lentils. I had green, so I'm using those. Again, remember, anytime I do these recipes, I do adapt them to based on what I have in my cupboard and also my dietary restrictions. Okay, I've mixed the lentils in. Now we are going to add in our vegetable broth. I had 2 cups of homemade vegetable broth already prepared, so I'm using that. My vegetable broth tends to be very concentrated, so adding the remaining as water is okay. The recipe does say 3.5 cups of vegetable broth, but I'm going to basically add water as well. And then, I forgot to do this. This was supposed to be before the vegetable broth. We're gonna add in some chopped up, what are those called? Walnuts. Those are called walnuts. To the mixture. Mix that together. You can also use hemp seed or pecans, whatever you prefer. I had walnuts on hand, so I'm using the walnuts. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to let this come to a simmer, and then cover it and let it simmer for 20 minutes until the lentils are tender. Okay, I said simmer. I meant boil. Bring it to a boil. And then we're going to cover it and let it simmer for 20 minutes.